and welcome back to another Money Tip Monday. Today we're back to talk about how to be economy proof. Now you can see I have a beautiful visitor named Daisia who is going to be reviewing a financial strategy with me today. But I thought that since I've been talking a lot about what's been going on in the economy, what's been going on in the news, all the mixed media about whether or not we're in a recession, not going into a recession, I thought it would be super important to make a video about the 5 most fundamental things I think are important when making financial purchases, investments, and decisions. Now, before we get into all of that though, I am gonna ask you to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel because I know that you wanna receive these awesome money tips in the future. So I brought Daisia on today because she brought to me a really great financial question, but it actually didn't have to do with things that you would normally think of for a money tip channel. She wasn't asking me about an investment in stocks or in real estate. She wasn't asking me about spending habits or budgeting. She was asking me about the potential return on going to get her MBA.
My question to Lizy was, does she think it's worth it, like for me financially in my financial situation, to go and get my MBA? Because I don't know if it is beneficial. But yeah, I just wanted to see if Lizy thought it was even worth it for me to go and do those things, like financially worth it.
Now, there are 5 fundamentals that you need to consider when making an investment or purchase, right? Or any financial decision really. And that is what you're spending, what you're making, how much money you have at the bank in terms of assets, and I'm talking about liquid assets, not equity. What the risk or return is going to be on said investment or purchase, and then timing, how long you plan on keeping this commitment or making payments. Now, these 5 factors, when evaluated together, will help you determine what is a smart or sound financial choice. The idea behind getting your MBA is because you want to earn more, correct?
Right.
Most millennials will make slightly under $38,000. And so many people, that's what they make right out of college. So just first and foremost right now with what you have in spending, right? What would the cost of an MBA be?
In this, like between like $80,000 and $90,000.
Okay.
So it's a big
$80,000 and
investment.
$90,000. Okay. And are you currently in debt with student loans?
I am.
Okay. And how much, like approximately?
I have like 60 or 65.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's very common, right, for most students, okay? That's an average amount. So the very first factor that you need to consider is how much you'll be spending. Spending a lot of times, like when we're talking about investments, it's like how much are you going to be spending every month to save, or how much you're going to be spending every month for your house payment if you're getting a mortgage, right? So what's the actual cost? Would this be a cost that you pay outright, or would you end up getting financing?
I would finance it for sure.
Okay. And so whenever you're financing a debt, right, you want to consider the interest and the length of the term, right? And whether or not that term includes features like compound interest.
Yeah.
So student loans are really tricky because you technically pay interest from the day that you take out the balance, and then that interest accrues, and every month it compounds, right? So your balance is consistently growing, and not just the amount of interest, but it's on the interest of the new balance every month.
Yeah.
So you just end up owing so much more when you graduate, and you don't start making payments until 6 months after you've finished school, so that you have enough time to have earnings and savings. So the cost of this isn't really gonna be $80,000 to $90,000. It's probably gonna end up being somewhere close to double and a half.
Yeah, at the end of the loan term, yeah.
Yes, and so you have to also consider that with the cost of your undergraduate that you haven't paid for yet.
Right.
Okay, so the very first factor right in here is spending. Now the next thing is making, right? So, like I said, millennials are making somewhere close to $38,000 right out of college. Would it be safe to say that the earning potential is gonna be somewhere close to like 6 figures, maybe 100,000 when you graduate?
Yes.
Okay. So you would be more than doubling your regular income. Now, for curiosity's sake, I did some research, and it looks like the career that you have right now would probably earn you somewhere between like, $50,000 to $60,000. But it looked like many of those jobs required like
3 to 5 years of experience or
an MBA.
Or an MBA, yeah.
Got it. Okay.
They want you to have an MBA.
Okay, so that would be like the big risk factor. So even though like that is the earning potential when you're looking at graduating, right? You couldn't earn that right out of college.
Right.
The next thing is, do you have any money saved to do an MBA?
No, I just started saving like last month.
Oh,
so
because of my money tip?
Yeah, actually it was. And I have 1,000 saved.
Oh my God, good job.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I don't pay rent.
Hey, good job, Deb. Shout out to her mama. Okay, so in assets, right now, we're gonna just say that right now we don't have assets to help pay for this.
No.
Okay, now what's the potential risk? Like what would you be losing out on, right, if you decided to take an MBA?
Mostly like working experience currently.
Okay.
If I did my MBA abroad, I'd be missing a year with my family.
Okay. And you know what, guys? That's one thing that people really don't factor in is things that maybe don't have a monetary cost, like time with family, right? That's definitely an opportunity cost. What's a potential risk, right, of going and getting your MBA?
I waste all my money. Debt is, the big one.
Debt, right?
That's the scary one.
So debt. And the potential reward is like what we said is in future earnings, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so the requirement for the investment is 1 to 2 years potentially, but then we're talking about maybe 25-year repayment term.
Yeah.
Right, if
Which
you
would
did
make
the
me sad.
longest repayment term. So here's the deal, right? So because when we're talking about net income, right, the reason we're talking about a 25-year repayment term is because in order to make this affordable, she already has, you know, a good chunk of debt already for school. In order to make these payments affordable, typically people will have to extend their payment terms like in the longest that they can be. And so when you're really taking in consideration the timing, right, you got to figure out like how long you're going to be paying on the debt, right? So here's the deal. So we're evaluating this, right? So it's going to put you $80,000 to $90,000 in initial debt. Mm-hmm. The income potential is definitely 3 times, but you could probably earn somewhere close to that with just more job experience.
Right.
And it sounds like the 6-figure earning potential is probably also with job experience.
Correct.
Okay. So you don't have any money saved right now, so this would be complete debt. So you'd be paying money not only to go to school, but then the cost of living and room and board, especially if you went abroad because you wouldn't be able to work.
No. Yeah.
Okay. And if you were able to work here, would it be a part-time job or?
That's the thing I would have to consider. I'd like to work a full-time job, but it might be too much to do if I'm also doing part-time school.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to tell you, right? So this investment, even though it's in yourself, and I know that this is going to be triggering for many people, and I do want to say as a caveat that there are some professions, right, where higher education is absolute and definitely makes sense. But in like you work in marketing and, you know, videos and social media, right, where you can have a lot of on experience, you know, time that actually makes you earn more than maybe going to school, I definitely would not say that this is a sound investment. For me, this just puts you in more and more debt and actually gets you further away from the financial freedom that you're craving.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of times, you know, you'll look at something and you're like, but I'll be making maybe 6 figures for my whole lifetime. And while that's maybe true, I actually think that there's easier ways to come by this without putting yourself in so much debt.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, we're talking about over 6 figures in just compounding debt. So the thing is that if you had this kind of debt payment, would it prevent you from then owning a home later on?
Yeah.
Right? One of the scariest statistics I read was that student debt is the largest debt now in many people's actual finances, right? Where that used to absolutely be a mortgage, now it's student loan debt. And I think that for the cost, you could actually get a better return on just doing some more experience, maybe do for freelance jobs, maybe get a free internship, right? I mean, I know it sucks in the long run to work for a lesser wage, but that time investment will be super huge. So I know that right now it seems crazy for me to say, hey, it doesn't make a smart decision to invest this much in an MBA at high interest debt, right? I'm gonna go ahead and say that this does not qualify.
It doesn't.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another Money Tip Monday. If you want to learn more about our SMART philosophy, please join us online at lizyhoeffer.com. We're launching a new website with tons of online resources to help you be economy proof. And if you are willing to share your SMART scenario with me, I'd love to share it on a Money Tip Monday. We'll evaluate all the concepts and you can be my lovely visitor. Follow us on our other social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook. Those links will be below, and I will see you next week, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.